At 9:47 p.m., there's a light still on in your office V, not the whole floor, just one desk. The person sitting there just got promoted. Higher title, bigger salary, the kind of career move people congratulate you for. They were eating dinner out of a plastic container, refreshing their inbox, telling themselves this is what success is supposed to feel like. Now across the city, someone else shut their laptop at 5:12 p.m., same company, same starting salary. 5 years ago, they said no to that promotion. They at home right now, cooking, talking, not checking anything. Here's the uncomfortable question. Which one is actually winning because one of them makes more money, but the other one kept something far more valuable? Pattern interrupt, slow, deliberate, and the strange part is, when you say no to a promotion, you don't just change your income. You change the direction your entire life compounds in. Let's make this concrete. Two people, same company, same starting point, same role, same skill, live. Same $90,000 salary. We'll call them Alex and Sam. At the beginning, there's no visible difference. They sit in the same meetings. They reevaluated by the same manager. They were both seen as high potential. If you looked at their trajectory, you'd assume it would be identical. Then a promotion opens up. Not a life-changing one, just the next step. A little more money, a little more responsibility, a little more status. The kind of opportunity that feels automatic. Alex says yes because saying yes feels like progress. It's how careers are supposed to work. You move up, you earn more, you become more important. There's no real decision here, just momentum. Sam pauses, and this is where things quietly change, not because she does want to grow, but because she separates two ideas most people treat as the same, growth and advancement. So instead of asking, is this a good opportunity, she asks something far more dangerous. What will this cost me that doesn't show up in the salary? Time, flexibility, energy, optionality, and then she makes a decision that on the surface looks like she's falling behind. She says no, nothing dramatic happens, no big moment, no immediate consequence. The next day looks exactly the same, which is why this decision is so easy to underestimate. But from that point on, their lives start compounding in different directions. At first, the gap is invisible. In the first year, Alex is slightly ahead. More money, more recognition, more external proof that he's doing it right. 5 years later, on paper, Alex won, higher title, higher income, a career that looks like it's accelerating. Sam, almost unchanged, same level, steady income, nothing impressive at a glance. But that's only if you measure the wrong thing, because in real life, the outcome flips, not because one worked harder, but because one optimized for income and the other optimized for control. And over time, those two strategies do not lead to the same place. Let's look at what actually happened to Alex. That promotion took him from $90,000 to $120,000. On paper, that's a $30,000 raise. It feels like a leap, a level up, proof that things are working. But the number you see is not the number you keep. Before Alex touches a single dollar, taxes take their cut. A state, payroll, roughly 30 to 40% gone. That $30,000 raise is already closer to $18,000. And then something even more subtle happens. Something nobody announces. Something that feels completely reasonable in the moment. His life begins to upgrade quietly. The apartment that used to feel fine starts to feel temporary. So he moves, higher rent, better location, nicer building. The car that used to work perfectly now feels slightly out of place, so he upgrades, nothing extreme, just something that fits his new level. Dinners out become more frequent. Flights get a little more comfortable. Convenience becomes normal. None of these decisions feel irresponsible. Individually, they all make sense. He can afford it. That's the point, right? But here's what's actually happening. The raise isn't increasing his wealth. It's increasing his baseline. The raise isn't what you keep. It's what you upgrade. And upgrades don't behave like one-time expenses. They turn into fixed costs. Rent becomes a monthly obligation. Car payments become non-negotiable. A certain lifestyle becomes expected, not just by him, but by the people around him. Because income does just change what you can buy. It changes what feels normal. And once something feels normal, going backward doesn't feel neutral. It feels like failure. This is where the trap quietly locks in. Because now Alex doesn't need $90,000 to live anymore. He needs $120,000, maybe more. So the next promotion isn't optional. It's required. And once your life requires your next raise, saying no stops being a decision and starts becoming something you can't afford to do. Up to this point, it still looks like Alex is ahead, higher salary, better title, a clear upward trajectory. But there's a number almost nobody calculates, and it's the only one that tells the truth. Your effective hourly rate. Because Alex, didn't he just get a raise? He got a new schedule. The promotion, didn't he say it explicitly? But it came with longer days, more meetings, more responsibility, more problems that follow him home. He's no longer working 40 hours a week. It's closer to 55, sometimes 60. Meanwhile, Sam, still working 40, clean boundaries, predictable schedule, work that ends when the day ends. Now run the math. Alex is making $120,000 a year. That sounds like a big jump, but spread that across 55 to 60 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, and suddenly the gap shrinks a lot. Sam at $90,000 working 40 hours is earning almost the same per hour, sometimes within a few dollars. All that extra stress, all those extra nights, all that additional responsibility. For what? You didn't get a raise. You sold your free time at a discount, and it gets worse. Because those extra hours aren't just time, they re-energy. After a 10-hour day, you re-not building anything. You re-not learning new skills. You re-not investing in your future. You re-recovering. Which means the promotion, didn't just change how much Alex earns. It changed what he's capable of doing outside of work. Sam still has margin, time to think, time to build, time to invest literally and financially. Alex has momentum, but no flexibility. And this is the part nobody tells you. Careers don't just compound through income. They compound through time allocation. Where your hours go determines what your future looks like. And when most of your hours are already spoken for, you don't just lose time. You lose the ability to change direction. Let's ask the question almost nobody asks before saying yes to a promotion. What actually happens to the extra 15 hours per week? Because they don't disappear. They get converted into something. A path one, Alex says yes, those horse turn into more meetings, more responsibility, more decisions that follow you home. And even when Alex logs off, his brain does the time isn't just spent working, it's spent recovering from work. So those 15-20 hours, they not just gone, they unusable. Path 2, Sam says no. Sam keeps those same 15-20 hours. At first, nothing dramatic happens, no big wins, no instant results, just small, consistent actions. Learning a skill, picking up freelance work, building a small income stream, investing regularly. It does look impressive, but it's building something. Now let's make this real. Let's say Sam creates just $1,000 per month. Not life-changing money, just enough to matter. And instead of upgrading lifestyle, Sam invests it. After 20 years, that becomes $60,000 to $500,000, no promotion, no extra stress. No 60-hour weeks, just consistency. Now here's the shift. Alex didn't just earn more. Alex gave up the only asset that creates leverage, the time with energy, because wealth isn't built inside your main job. Your job covers your life. Wealth is built in the hours you control, the energy you still have left, the choices you can repeat consistently. Key line. Promotions don't just pay you more. They quietly take away your ability to build anything else. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The higher you climb, the less space you have to create anything outside of it. Until one day, you're earning more than ever, but you've lost the time required to turn it into freedom. And this is where the gap between Alex and Sam stops being small and starts compounding into something you can ignore. Let's ask the question almost nobody asks before saying yes to a promotion. What actually happens to the extra 15 hours per week? Because they don't disappear, they get converted into something. A path one, Alex says yes, those horse turn into more meetings, more responsibility, more decisions that follow you home. And even when Alex logs off, his brain does the time isn't just spent working, it's spent recovering from work. So those 15-20 hours, they not just gone, they unusable. Path 2, Sam says no. Sam keeps those same 15-20 hours. At first, nothing dramatic happens, no big wins, no instant results, just small, consistent actions. Learning a skill, picking up freelance work, building a small income stream, investing regularly. It does look impressive, but it's building something. Now let's make this real. Let's say Sam creates just $1,000 per month. Not life-changing money, just enough to matter. And instead of upgrading lifestyle, Sam invests it. After 20 years, that becomes $60,000 to $500,000, no promotion, no extra stress. No 60-hour weeks, just consistency. Now here's the shift. Alex didn't just earn more. Alex gave up the only asset that creates leverage, the time with energy, because wealth isn't built inside your main job. Your job covers your life. Wealth is built in the hours you control, the energy you still have left, the choices you can repeat consistently. Key line. Promotions don't just pay you more. They quietly take away your ability to build anything else. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The higher you climb, the less space you have to create anything outside of it. Until one day, you're earning more than ever, but you've lost the time required to turn it into freedom. And this is where the gap between Alex and Sam stops being small and starts compounding into something you can ignore. Now here's the part that actually drives all of this. Because the decision to say yes to a promotion is almost never about money, it's psychological. Trap 1: identity becomes your job title. At some point, the job stops being something you do and starts becoming who you are. You're not Alex who works in marketing. You're senior manager, director, and once that happens, saying no to a promotion doesn't feel like a career decision. It feels like losing status, like you're going backwards, even if your life would actually move forward. Trap 2: social comparison. You're not just working anymore, you're watching colleagues get promoted. Friends post wins online, people your age moving up, and your brain starts asking a dangerous question. Why not me? Not because you want the role, but because you don't want to feel left behind. And here's the truth most people want to say out loud. A lot of promotions are accepted, not out of ambition, but out of fear of falling behind socially. Trap 3: the success script. From school to career, you were given a script. Work hard, get promoted, earn more, climb higher. No one ever tells you to question it, so you just follow it, even when it stops making sense for your life. And this is where it gets deeper. Because your workplace isn't just a job, it's a system designed to keep you playing. Introduce concept tournament theory. Think of your career like a tournament. Thousands of people competing for a very small number of higher positions. Only a few win, but here's the key. Everyone behaves like they might win. So what happens? People work longer hours, take on more stress, say yes to everything, because the possibility of winning is enough to keep them in the game. Even if statistically, most never will, and companies understand this perfectly. They don't need everyone to win. They just need everyone to keep competing, which leads to the uncomfortable realization. The promotion isn't the reward. It's the bait, the title, the raise, the recognition. It's what keeps you running, but while you're running, you're also giving up your time, increasing your dependencies, locking yourself into a lifestyle. That makes it harder to ever stop, and this is why saying no feels so difficult, because you're not just rejecting a promotion. You're stepping outside the system, you're choosing time over status, flexibility over validation, long-term freedom over short-term recognition, and your brain does not like that trade at first, because everything you've been taught says, more better. But the people who figure this out realize something most never do. The game only works if you keep playing it, and once you see that clearly, you start asking a completely different question. Now here's the moment everything changes, not externally, internally. It dressed to feel powerful. At first, it feels wrong. The first time you say no to a promotion, you don't feel confident, you feel uncertain, slightly behind, like you just made a mistake. Your brain starts racing. What if this was my chance? What if I regret this later? What if everyone else keeps moving ahead? And then comes the social pressure. Subtle but real. Your manager pauses a second too long. Your coworkers don't quite understand. Your parents ask, are you sure? Because in most people's minds, there's only one direction that makes sense, up. So when you step sideways, or choose not to step at all, it looks like you're falling behind. But then something unexpected happens. Not immediately, but gradually, your time opens up. Evenings stop feeling compressed. You're not rushing through life anymore. You're actually in it. The constant low-level stress, it starts to fade. You're no longer carrying tomorrow's problems into tonight. And then the biggest shift, clarity. For the first time in a long time, you have enough space to ask, what do I actually want? Not what your company wants, not what your peers are doing, you. And that question changes everything. Because once you see your time clearly, you start using it differently, more intentionally, more selectively. And the thing you were afraid of, falling behind, you start to realize something. The people ahead are just moving faster on a path you may not even want. The first no feels like falling behind, until you realize you just stepped off the treadmill. You're no longer running because you have to. You're choosing where to go. And that shift from reacting to choosing is where real control begins. And 5 years later, that one decision starts to look very different. Now fast forward, 5 years, same starting point, same company, same skill, 2 different decisions. 2 completely different lives. Alex says yes on paper. Alex looked like he won salary, 140K, title, senior manager director, bigger house, nicer car. From the outside, it looked like success, but zoom in, Savings rate still low, investments inconsistent, free time almost gone, most of the rise got absorbed into the life built around it. And internally, constant pressure, low grade burnout, always on, and the biggest on, no optionality. Alex can't easily take a break, change careers, say no again, because everything now depends on staying exactly where he is. Now look at Sam says no, on paper, less impressive, salary $100,000, no flashy title, no dramatic jumps. But zoom in, investment accounts, steadily growing side income, $1,000, $2,000 IRA month, expenses controlled, and most importantly, time is still flexible. Sam can walk away if needed, take risks, change direction, because life was never built to require maximum income. And here's where the gap becomes real. After 5 years, Alex has higher income, higher stress, lower freedom. Sam has moderate income, growing assets, increasing freedom. This is the divergence nobody sees early, because it does to show up in year one. It compounds quietly until one day, the person who looked behind has more options than the person who looked ahead. One optimized for income, the other optimized for control, and in the long run, control is what income was supposed to give you in the first place. And once you see that, you stop asking how do I earn more, and start asking a much better question. Reframing success completely, the LinkedIn profiles side by side, Alex, impressive tie, long responsibilities list, Sam, simpler title, but overlay shows investments, time, flexibility. We've been measuring success the wrong way. For most of your life, you were taught to look at two things, salary and title, bigger number, better life, higher title, more success. But if everything you've seen so far is true, those metrics are incomplete at best and misleading at worst, because salary doesn't tell you how much you keep and tie doesn't tell you how much you control. Visual ship, calendar fills up vest, calendar with empty space, bank account vest, investment account. So here's a better way to measure it. Not how much you earn, but how much you own. How many hours of your day are actually yours? How many decisions can you make without asking for permission? How long could you go if your paycheck disappeared tomorrow? That's the real scorecard, because someone earning $120,000 with no savings, no time, and no flexibility isn't he ahead of someone earning $90,000 with investments, control, and options. They read just more committed. This is where most people get it backwards. They optimize for visible success instead of functional freedom. They chase income and accidentally give up ownership. Wealth isn't how much you earn. It's how much of your life you own. Alex checking phone late at night. Sam closing laptop at 5 p.m. walking away. Because at the end of the day, money only matters for one reason. What it lets you not do, not take the meeting, not answer the email, not accept the promotion you don't want. And the moment you understand that, everything changes, because the goal was never to climb faster. It was to build a life you don't need to escape from. How to decide before you say yes at some point. This stops being theoretical. An email shows up, a meeting gets scheduled, a title gets offered, and in that moment you don't need motivation, you need a filter. Because saying yes is automatic. Saying no requires clarity. What does this cost in hours? Not what it pays, what it takes. Are you going from 40 hours to 55, 60? That's not a small change. That's a 25-50% increase in your life sold. What does this cost in flexibility? Can you still leave at 5 without guilt? Take a random Tuesday off. Think without being interrupted every 10 minutes. Or are you trading control for constant availability? What could I build with that time instead? Because time isn't just time. It's a skill you haven't learned yet, an income stream you haven't built, an investment portfolio you haven't funded. 15 hours per week doesn't feel like much until you realize that's 780 hours a year. That's not spare time. That's a second life. Most people evaluate promotions like this. What do I get? But the better question is, what am I giving up that I can get back? Rule clear, firm. Only take the promotion if it increases your leverage. Not just your workload. Leverage means you gain skills that compound, you gain equity, ownership, or upside, you gain control over your time later. If all you gain is more responsibility, more meetings, and a slightly bigger paycheck, that's not a promotion, that's a trade. Bring it full circle. Think back to the person we started with, the one with the title, the salary, the version of success everyone recognizes instantly. Now look closer, look at their time, look at their stress, look at how much their life they actually control. Because that's the part nobody talks about, the system you're in. Was built to reward one thing, saying yes to more work, yes to more responsibility, yes to trading a little more of your life for a little more money. And if you follow that path long enough, you don't even realize you're remaking the trade anymore. It just feels normal. But wealth Real wealth is built differently. It's built in the moments where you pause and don't automatically say yes. It's built when you question the trade. When you look at a bigger title and ask what it costs you. It's built when you protect your time, like it's the asset it actually is. Because in the end, your career will always try to expand, your income will always try to get spent, and your life will quietly shape itself around whatever you agree to. Visual, two paths again, Alex v. Sam. Fade into a single question on screen. So the real question isn't how high can you climb, it's what are you climbing toward, and is it worth your life to get there? Option 1, direct, impactful. The promotion changes your title. Saying no changes your life. Option 2, most people spend their careers climbing. A few step back and realize they were climbing the wrong wall.